All right, today we're jumping into a pretty provocative dating tactic that's been making the rounds online. It's a really fascinating look at a specific kind of psychological strategy, so let's get right into the source material and see what this is all about.
Wow, okay. So the source material just drops this bomb right at the start. This statement really sets the tone for everything we're about to unpack. This is the core idea: sexuality being framed as the ultimate power play in a relationship.
So to really get a handle on this tactic, we've got to start with its foundation. The whole argument is built on what the source calls a superpower. But what does that actually mean?
And here's the thing, this isn't just about physical attraction. No, according to the source, we're talking about sexuality as a strategic tool, a form of leverage that can be used to influence and maybe even control the dynamic of a relationship.
Now, to really understand the logic here, we have to get into the specific language the source uses. The entire concept pretty much hinges on this one key phrase: female exceptionalism.
Right, so what in the world is exceptionalism in this context? It's a fair question, and the answer is absolutely critical to understanding the counter tactic that's being proposed.
And there it is. According to the source, female exceptionalism is this belief that a woman's sexuality gives her a kind of special, almost untouchable status. It's that ace up her sleeve we heard about a second ago. It's the idea that this one quality makes her fundamentally different and powerful.
Okay, so we've defined the supposed problem, right? Well, the source doesn't just stop there. It moves right on to its proposed solution. It actually lays out a very specific tactic designed to, and this is their word, neutralize this perceived power.
And this is where things get really practical. The source isn't just observing something. It's literally prescribing a course of action. The thinking is, if female exceptionalism is the lever of power, then there has to be a way to disarm it.
So, how does this tactic actually work? It's a two-step process, apparently. First, you acknowledge what she believes makes her special. You see it. But then, you immediately pull the rug out by completely invalidating it, reframing her as ordinary in other key areas, like her personality and even in intimacy. It's a direct challenge to that core belief.
Now that the tactic is laid out, the source turns to the intended outcome, and it uses some extremely powerful language to describe the psychological effect this is all supposed to have.
So what's the goal here? What's supposed to happen when you use this tactic? Well, according to the source, the effect is pretty dramatic.
A nuclear bomb. That's not exactly subtle. This really highlights just how intense the goal of the tactic is. It's not just about disagreeing with someone, it's about completely dismantling a core part of their self-perception, at least according to this particular framework.
To wrap this all up, the source comes back with a really memorable metaphor to drive its point home.
This right here, this really captures the whole essence of the argument. The source claims that the woman believes she's holding her strongest card, an ace. The whole point of the tactic is to reveal that, in what the source calls reality, it was never an ace to begin with. It was just a two of clubs, one of the lowest value cards in the entire deck.
So you might be asking, why would anyone propose such an aggressive tactic? The source is actually very explicit about its purpose. It's framed as a tool to help men break free from what it calls a validation death spiral, that perceived never-ending cycle of seeking approval which is supposedly built on accepting her exceptionalism.
And that's our breakdown of this, well, fascinating and definitely controversial piece of online material. It really leaves us with a much bigger question, doesn't it? What does the emergence of these kinds of prescriptive, almost tactical guides for relationships really say about the challenges we all face in forming genuine connections in today's world?